Folks, this Brendan Ike situation, Mozilla and the militant gay fascists and so on, I've been doing a lot of thinking about this over the weekend because one of the things that, as you know, it may even be a near obsession with me, is to constantly devise ways to inform, teach, instruct, whatever, people about liberalism and how it works. For some reason, I really think that matters. For some reason, my instincts are telling me to follow this trail. In addition to talking about all the absolute dire consequences of liberalism. So much of the damage being incurred on the country is resulting from, even before liberals do anything, their discrediting of us and how they've done that. Do you recall, and I'll tell you what it involves. Over the course of the many years of this program, I've often, almost as a casual throwaway, made fun of or joked about or made a serious point about the left, and that is that they do not want to be judged on the results of any of their initiatives. I don't care what it is. Social Security, Obamacare, the entire New Deal, that is not permitted. The only thing that matters is their intentions. Right? And if their intentions are good, then their mistakes are forgiven and their absolute destruction is forgiven because their intentions are good. They're good people. They're trying to help. On the other hand, one of the direct methods that they use to discredit any opponent is to constantly assault and challenge the intentions of, say, us, Republicans or conservatives. And I devised the Limbaugh theorem as a way of trying to explain to myself and to people why Obama was escaping any blame, any accountability for the literal destruction of his policies. And I will admit to you that in the process, I've got constant pressure on me. Rush, even so what? That's not the point. You need to keep focusing on what Obama's doing, not how or why and all that. And I do both. I think the how and the why, for some reason, my instincts tell me there's ground to be gained here by having people understand how the left does what they do. How do they escape accountability? How do they get away with this kind of damage? How do they get away with actually doing what they accuse us of doing? How do they get away with lying about us? How do they get away with convincing people we are what we are not? How have they managed to convince low-information people that conservatism equals racism, bigotry, and hate? How have they done that? There is a specific strategy behind this. They employ it every day with the help of the media. How do they do it? I think it's important to uncover that. I think it's important to unmask it and have people understand it. Because until it does get unmasked and uncovered and people understand it, right and wrong aren't going to matter. The only thing that's going to matter is people's intentions. Take a look at Brendan Ike just for this. I have just an illustration here. And it may take me a while to walk through this because I haven't even written down. This is all a combination of mind and heart. Well, I've got a couple of things I printed out that back up the theory that I have here. What got me started on all this was an email I got from a friend of mine, by the way, explaining how people were going to wise up to Obama and it was going to be soon over and so forth. And I wrote him, no, you don't understand how this stuff all works. But look at Brendan Ike. Brendan Ike, Mozilla CEO, gave $1,000 to Prop 8. back in 2008 or 2009. It had the same point of view on it at the time President Obama did. What did Brendan Eichen was not that he gave $1,000 to support Prop 8 and stand for heterosexual marriage. They couldn't have done that unless standing for heterosexual marriage equals, this is the key, equals hatred for homosexuals. Brendan Eichen doesn't hate gays. By definition, it's not possible for him to have accomplished what he's accomplished, but that's what he became, a man of hatred. And how were they able to pull that off? Because for years they have been equating opposition to them with hatred. I'm talking about motives. They are assigning motives and intentions to us. It happened just the other day with Obama. He goes out on another one of his campaign appearances, and he says to his audience, I don't know why a bunch of Republicans want to take health insurance away from people. They don't. Nobody wants to take health insurance away from people. Why does he say it? How does he get away with it? Because long ago, they succeeded in creating the idea that the Republicans' intention is to harm people. That Republicans' real motives are rooted in hatred. Why does David Koch, who donates $100 million to a New York hospital, and that $100 million is probably part of a grand total of near $1 billion that he's donated over the course of his life to hospitals and other health institutions in New York. Why does he get protested? Why did the nurses and a bunch of leftist operators show up and protest? Harry Reid gave us the answer. He said the Koch brothers didn't really mean it. They just did that to camouflage their hatred. They just did that to try to convince people they're not who they really are. Well, if that's the way it works, then every Republican or conservative charitable endeavor is a fraud, is a hoax, designed to camouflage who they really are, which is bigots, racists, homophobes, what have you. Do not, folks, do not discount this. It's going to take me some time, and I hope I don't bore you with this. But I'm gonna dig into this in a little more detail and with some more examples and with some unassailable logic, by the way, because it is a major problem. This is the root of the fascism that exists in this country. This is how the liberal fascists get away with it. Let me, as another little tease, share with you this email that I got from a friend of mine in Kansas. He sends me notes all the time. He reacts to things in the news, and he's got kids. He tries to stay optimistic. And he was reacting to the idea that Obama appearing on Between Two Ferns is what turned everybody around and made them love Obamacare. Well, folks, the facts are nobody loves Obamacare. There aren't anywhere near 7 million people have signed up. Everything we're being told about that, and there's polling data, other support data for this, is a lie. In fact, the only person that is taking health insurance away from people is Barack Obama. He's out there. He's got his audience of liberal Democrats, and he starts talking. I don't know why these Republicans, I really don't know why they want to take health insurance away from folks. I don't know why they wouldn't want people to have health insurance. That's not what this is about, but why he says that, because it furthers the idea that the Republicans really don't like you. Republicans really don't like people. The Republicans really don't want anybody to be happy, and the Republicans are mean, and they'll happily take away from you and give to themselves. That's how the rich get rich and the poor stay poor. That's the circumstance, the scenario they've set up. When in reality, the only guy taking health insurance away from people is Barack Obama and his Democrat Party, not us. We don't even want to. We want the best for everybody, but somehow they're the ones that have all the good intentions. They're the ones that, while destroying everything, escape any accountability for it because they have good intentions. Brendan Ike hates gays. That's what that $1,000 donation meant. He's filled with hatred. And that's why he can't be CEO. But he's not. How do they know? How do they know what's in Brendan Ike's heart? Maybe Brendan Ike believes something as simple as marriage is how a society propagates itself in the organized nuclear family. The one thing that'll never happen in a gay marriage is reproduction. The heteros have to do it. Maybe he simply believes something. Is that something that is filled with hatred? Yes. The gay mafia, as described by Bill Maher, no less, the leftist fascists equate any opposition to them as motivated by hatred or bigotry or what have you. They've succeeded in convincing people of this. Is why Republicans are so defensive. This is why Republicans, and by the way, this is why it is hopeless for Republicans to go halfway on immigration reform or halfway on any Democrat issue. The way, the evidence that that's not going to work is what happened to David Koch and his $100 million. And Harry Reid, by the way, he's not the only one. They all believe that Koch really doesn't mean to give $100 million to help people. He's given $100 million so people don't find out who he really is. He's given $100 million because he's guilty, feeling guilty over what a mean person he is. And he doesn't want people to find out, so that's why he gives the 100. That's what they believe. That's what they tell people. Let me take a break here. I'll get back to this email and continue with this as the program unfolds right after this. Don't go away.